Opinions with Regular Guys. I'm Frank, this is Mike. Thank you guys for listening. So on this week's episode, of course, we're going to continue to talk about Week 10 results, particularly with the Bears, I guess you want to say disappointing loss, Mike, to the Detroit Lions this past weekend, or Sunday. And it was kind of disappointing.
It was a heartbreaker.
It probably should have went to overtime if they would have made
heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. I guess. I mean, this is one game I actually did have the Bears winning, but we'll get into that as well as some other games. There were a few upsets in the NFL this past week, so we'll get into that, especially like with the Vikings and the Bills and the Packers and the Cowboys. Just in the division alone, you know, every team won except for the Bears this week.
None of that was as disappointing to me as the Bears losing to the Lions. That was the most disappointing thing I experienced the past weekend. I watched it with you guys, and honestly, for about a good 3-4 minutes, I couldn't even move because I was just that mad that we lost that damn game.
Well,
by 1 point.
Yeah, they could have had kicked
an extra point.
Yep.
That this man kicked way off. Like, did you see that kick? Did you see it?
Well, I watched the whole game.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Field goal that way. How did that happen? Like, why did you kick it at an angle?
Well, that's the NFL. Why did they push back the extra point? It used to be at the 10-yard line. You know, they should have left it alone. But anyway, we'll get into that as well as a little bit of NBA. I actually want to talk about the Bulls and the season. We're already a month into the NBA season, and they just played again tonight. Game just ended not too long ago, and they lost another one, fellas. You know, so they're not looking very good right now. But we'll get into that in a moment. Any other news that we'll get into, you know, particularly the NFL and NBA. But let's, of course, start with the elephant in the room, and that is the Bears losing to the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field this past Sunday afternoon, 31-30. Well, it really came down to a missed extra point, or it could be another, pick six from Fields?
He made up for that.
Yes, he did. He did. But the problem is if it's not our offense giving up points to the defense, it's our special teams giving up points to the defense. So this is, to their defense. So these last two games, the Bears probably could have won if they didn't give up the non-defensive touchdowns. How about that? Okay, yeah. Giving up touchdowns that the defense didn't give up, because you know the defense is gonna need everything they need to do anything, because they can't play a lick of defense at all in this team. So they got rid of everybody. So hell, it makes it worse if they're already going to give up at least 25 points. But it makes it worse when your offense gives the other team 6 points, or your special teams gives them 6 points, or your special teams misses an extra point to get the team, you know, possibly the Bears probably should have won this game.
Agreed.
You know, if they would kick the extra point and did not give up pick six, then they would have won this game. But I warned you already that Detroit is a high-scoring team. They just are just as bad as the Bears. They don't have a good defense, but they do have a decent scoring offense. They do. Look at their games that they played.
Yeah.
They put up 30 points consistently.
Put up 30 points
Well, they do too. So they're no joke when it comes to offense. And I know you don't agree with that. They're a bad team, and I give you, Detroit is horrible. You know, but they beat the Bears, and the Bears are now officially all alone, last place in the NFC North, without any, and going 0-3 in the division so far. So now they have 3 games left in the division, against another game against the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions again. And can they get at least one win? At this point, Mike, I'm going to say that I want them to get one more win, and that win is against the Green Bay Packers.
I don't care where they get the win from. First of all, 3-7 is disappointing. I know you have this as being a throwaway season or a rebuilding season, whatever you want to call it. I'm just wondering, how smart is it that we have a young quarterback, dynamic quarterback like Justin Fields, and we're going to experiment with him and get a whole bunch of one-year guys to block for him? Like, he is prone to be injured the way things are going. He is forever running for his life. And I'm loving all the rushing, and I'm loving all the 100-yard rushing games. I'm loving it all. This is the main reason I am wearing Bears paraphernalia today, is because of what I saw on Sunday, and I saw the heart from Justin Fields. I saw him trying to win that game. I mean, yeah, you talk about the pick six, but that run that he did, and that defensive guy was waiting at the end zone, and he ran him over to get into the damn end zone. That was the tone setter for the game for me. That got me out of my seat. I know we watched the game together. That got me out of my seat because that was electrifying. You don't see a quarterback running someone over to get up, into the end zone nowadays. It's just not seen very much anymore. But that was great. But come on now, the Lions, they're 3-6. I know we're 3-7. That doesn't make us any better, but the Lions really do suck. I'm sorry. There's no reason why we should have lost to the Lions. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I was very disappointed by it, but I was happy to see Justin Fields once again come out and shine and put on a show, to showcase what his skills are. And I'm excited, to tell you the truth. I am excited about next year to see what happens when they put talent around him to protect him and for him to throw the ball to.
Well, I've been saying that all year about that. So the Lions have 3 wins, but they also have 2 wins in the division against the Packers and the Bears. The Bears have no wins in the division.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back to something here. It was Justin Fields. And so his stats for this past week against the Lions was 167 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, sacked 3 times, gave up a pick 6. He rushed for 147 yards, unbelievable. As much as I like that, I hate to see that continue. I want to spread that ball rushing-wise equally amongst Herbert and Montgomery. Justin Fields should not be rushing for 147 yards. I don't have a problem with it right now, but that's going to have to change, especially in next year. But what I want to look at here, what I want to tell you, Mike, is I look at his season stats so far. Remember how slow he started? He barely threw any touchdowns. Now, you know where he's at right now? He has, where did I put his stats? He has 12 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. Remember, he had more interceptions than touchdowns. And he's actually got his yardage up a little bit. Now, it's tied for 25th, but remember, he actually has, almost 1,500 yards passing. Now, that's not saying a lot being in week 10.
No. But
where was he at in week 5 or week 4? Was he at even 300 yards?
500.
He wasn't even at 500.
He was about at 500 yards.
Now, rushing though, what is he at getting rushing yards? Attempts. He's up there with the best in the league when it comes to rushing.
Yep.
I was trying to...
Like I said, man, his skills, he's showcasing it. You can see
he has 749 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's going to rush
as a quarterback.
He's going to rush for 1,000 yards this year.
He will. I think Bobby Douglas might have been the last Bear that actually did that, and I think that was back in the 70s.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was like their fastest quarterback, I guess.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that was probably slow compared to now, though.
Well, he was alright. He had to run. He had to run for his life. The teams he played on in those days, but they were bad. They were bad. That's when the Bears were really, 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 really bad. But yeah, he was the last one rushing for this amount. Trubisky didn't run this much. Trey Cutler didn't run that much. He ran a little bit, but not like that.
Yeah, nothing like this.
And you didn't have Rex Grossman, couldn't run for his life. McMahon ran a little bit, but not like Justin Fields. He's a dynamic athlete. And it's just a matter of time now. He's gonna gel with these receivers. They're gonna keep. You already kind of see who they're gonna be keeping. Obviously, they're gonna keep Cole Kmet. He had another 2 touchdown receiving game.
I'm loving that.
Okay, so you see the pieces and stars shining on the offense. They got that 3-headed monster rushing attack. We just got to get another receiver. We got to shore up that goddamn offensive line, and then we have got to put some. We got to rebuild the whole defense.
Isn't Herbert hurt?
I
think he's hurt. I think he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, isn't he?
For what? Maybe I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that, but
we'll get. I'll look it back.
But he, of course, Justin Fields is your offense, like any quarterback would be. Any top tier quarterback is your offense. You don't have him, you don't have anything.
Not every quarterback is rushing for 100 yards, man.
Yeah, but that's true. But you have, like, trust me, like, okay, where would KC be without? Where would the Chiefs be without Mahomes? Where would Green Bay be without Rodgers? Where would Tampa Bay be without Brady? You got to have a quarterback. Now, Justin Fields can kill you with his arm because he does have a deep arm, but he's going to kill you with his legs too. What I am a little concerned with, he's running way too much, I think, and I don't like the hits he's taking. I'm glad to see him running for those touchdowns, but he's got to slow it down a little bit. I mean, I guess he has no choice because he has to, and plus the defenses seem like they're kind of scared running after him because he always can dodge you, especially that little move he does when he goes around and he tricks you and you ain't catching him.
Yeah, a
lot of them are not catching him. So, and he's leading the Bears in passing yards, of course, but he's leading them in rushing yards too.
Yep.
So Khalil Herbert's been placed on injured reserve. What happened to him?
Yeah, I was reading that earlier today. That's why I was making sure. But yeah, I know
he suffered a hip injury
Yep.
on the final kick return. Oh my God. How the hell do you suffer a hip injury on the final kick return?
So look, Herbert 643 rushing yards on 108 carries through the past 10 games, ranked just outside the top 10, and are the second most by a Bears player behind
Justin
Fields.
Well, that is going to be a problem for them because they need that three-headed monster intact. Now, Montgomery is good, but he needs his rests too. So, you have Khalil Herbert who's out now. Did they even say is he out for the year? Or?
No, the last time I read that, it was like 3 or 4 games.
It doesn't matter at this point. I mean,
is.
I would like them to be healthy against the Packers because I would like them to beat the Packers when they come here in a few weeks. And other than that, I don't really care if they win the rest of their games. I just want to see the development. So this loss, it kind of stung a little bit because it's the Lions, yes, and they should have won this game, and I actually had them winning this game. One of the few wins I had them winning. But they lost this game, and I get upset about it, but I'm not going to stress it too much because the Bears are what they are. They're a 3-7 team. They're a last place team. They're one of the worst teams in the league, team-wise, record-wise. Maybe not so much offensive-wise anymore because you're putting up 30 points a game is not no joke in the last, 4 or 5 games. And remember, they started 16. Now they're over 30. So, obviously, they're not scoring those 16 points a game no more.
No.
Or 14 points a game or 12 points a game, So, I mean, we'll see. But, again, I'll keep saying this again and again and again. I said the Bears will win 3 to 4 games this season. I don't know why you're not.
I'm not on board
with that.
I'm not on board because we have the Falcons we're going to play.
Okay, Falcons are better than the Bears.
We have the Jets.
They're better than the Bears.
Wow.
I hope they win the Packers.
So, here, let me say this. The Packers game. Mm-hmm. Now, for the past 10 games, easily, I've always said the Packers were going to beat the Bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way things are this season, the whole mystique of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers against the Bears, again, about them being unbeatable, I think that whole mystique is gone. And just by us watching the Commanders beat the Packers, didn't the Lions? The
Jets
beat the Packers. The Jets beat the Packers.
The Packers are a bad team.
So, with that mystique gone, while we're able to see that, hey, they can be beat, I think the Bears are going to beat the Packers the next time that we see them.
Well, what I want to see from them when they play them again is, I know the defense stinks. And Aaron Rodgers is probably going to chop him up like he always does. He can have more.
I don't think so.
But here's what I want to see. I want to see on offense the Bears keeping these sustained drives and running the ball down their throat like they did last time.
Right.
And keep Aaron Rodgers off the field and wear that defense out. And this time, don't make any mistakes and then put up 30 points. Because I love to see them put up 30 points against the Packers. Because that's going to force Aaron Rodgers to make mistakes, especially if he's playing from behind. Because what does he do when he's from behind? Just like his predecessor, Brett Favre, they can't win from behind. They just can't. And when he's behind more than 2 scores, he's not no Tom Brady who's gonna come back and win. He makes mistakes.
The
and he panics.
two-time reigning MVP, all of a sudden now he doesn't come from behind
because he doesn't have many come from behind.
Are you kidding?
Because
me?
he doesn't. He's not usually. He's not playing. He's usually not playing from behind.
How many times?
But look, Mike, this season.
How many times have we seen this man launch a ball or launch a Hail Mary to win a game? More times than we probably should. And we're talking about
how many games do you see them down by multiple scores in the game?
Give the man his credit.
I gave him his credit, but not when he's losing by several scores. And this year, it's obviously when they're pretty much down, they're finished.
Well, I hope that we beat them this year.
But we'll get into them. Finishing up with the Bears, they're gonna lose.
Bro.
They're gonna win one more game. They might. I hope they take the Packers. That's the one game I want to see them win. And then maybe the Lions when they play the Lions again in Detroit on New Year's Day. But we'll see. I mean, they do got a tough schedule. You got the Falcons coming up.
I think
the Jets coming up.
I think we can beat them.
The Packers, the Eagles, followed by the Bills. And what's
So,
bad about that, the Bears could have a chance to win it. The only chance that they have of winning against the Eagles and the Bills, and the Packers is that they're at home. The Packers just have their number at home, but I agree with you. The Bears could beat the Packers if they keep them off.
I think they can.
The Eagles and the Eagles and the Bills, you might catch them on the bad game coming on the road, coming out here. And this time of year, they don't like to do that. Philly is comfortable at home, up until this past week. And the Bills are comfortable at home.
Yeah.
When you see these teams go out on the road, they don't do so well. So it was kind of funny. They're playing the Eagles and the Bills, and I told you this is our Super Bowl matchup is coming up this upcoming season. So it's kind of funny. The Bears are probably going to end up playing the eventual NFL champions this upcoming season and the NFC champions as well.
Yeah.
So it ain't no easy schedule. Then you still got the Vikings to play, and they got the Lions in between. So again, I can see one win out of all these games coming up, Mike. I see one win coming out of all of them. Realistically, they probably could lose them all, especially where the defense is playing.
So you're just looking at this list and all you see is L.
I see a possible win against the Packers and a possible win against the Lions.
That's basically what I'm hearing here.
Oh, well, come on. So you're saying they're going to beat the Falcons?
Yes.
They're going to go to Atlanta and beat the Falcons. They're going to go to New York and beat the Jets. Come here, beat the Packers. And then host the Eagles and the Bills back-to-back after the bye week.
I didn't say they were going to beat the Eagles or the Bills now.
And then they play the Lions on New Year's Day. Then they end the season at home against the Vikings. By that time, that's a possible win because if Vikings have everything clinched up and between them and the Eagles, since they have the same record, I don't know who has the tiebreaker against them. I think the Eagles have the tiebreaker. I think they played already, right? They definitely played this season. I don't know if I think they played already, but
yeah.
I believe the Eagles would have the tiebreaker. So by that time, if the Eagles clinched everything up and the Vikings clinched up that number 2 seed, I can clearly see them resting all their players at the end of that last week, and the Bears coming, and it's on the road too.
Yeah.
They got to come here, so I can easily see them just resting everyone, Kirk Cousins and Jefferson and all them resting, and the Bears play all their scrub players and end up beat their have their scrubs on the field, and the Bears just end their season with a win.
Wow.
That's a possibility. And, Justin Fields might have a really good game at that game. It's not that far away. But, again, I got 4 wins.
They're at 3.
They're at 3. I got them going no more than 4. So, any closing comments? On the Bears?
Well, I watch the Bears to watch them win. I don't care whether they're rebuilding, if they're in the middle of rebuilding. I watch them to win. And when I watch the Bears game, I see a lot of competitors out there, especially Justin Fields, Cole Kmet showing, 5 touchdowns within the past 3 games. He's showing that he wants to be out there. He wants to, win a game or win games. I don't like hearing the whole idea of, we should be losing so we can get good picks next year, so we can have a better team next year. We have talent now. We're able to put up 30 plus points per game. where we're in these games. The only game that we really got blown out like hard was the Cowboys, 49-29. They blew us out. And that's right after we blew out the Patriots 33-14. You know, otherwise we were pretty much in every single game that we played. We could easily be 6-3 right now, or 6-4, or 7-3, easily. If not some bonehead plays, guys dropping balls, guys getting hit in the head while they're trying to catch a kick return, guys trying to run the ball instead of going out of bounds, getting the ball straight picked out of their hands and, you know, run back the other way. You know, these are all bonehead plays. Missing extra points, missing field goals. Let me see. What other bonehead stuff have we seen that have cost us wins? Darnell Mooney not catching that pass in the end zone. You know, that was an easy catch for him. Somehow he fell down, bobbled that. Those are all winnable games. We're not that bad. You know, I don't know what you're watching.
Look at this.
I don't know what you're
This is
watching.
the overall league records. Right now, if the season ends, the Bears have the number 3 pick in the draft. And they're tied, and they're only a game behind the Vegas and Houston, which Vegas is very disappointing. They're only a game behind the Houston. So the Bears, at the way it's going right now, they're probably going to have a top 3 pick in the draft. That's good news to me, because that means we're going to not only have a top first round pick, but all the other picks they got, all the money they're going to have to spend, over $100 million. They are going to rebuild this team. They're going to get that defense together, because we have a defensive-minded coach. They're going to get the pieces on offense together. I do believe we got to take the heartaches and the bumps in the road here. You got to take these losses. You got to suck them up and take them. I already prepared for this at the end of last season. You go to a cash strap this season with all the players they let go, and they're paying them. And they didn't have any picks from getting Justin Fields and the other players they got previously from the other regime.
Okay.
So now, this upcoming season can actually be the real season for the GM and the coach to get everything together. You know, and we have a good offensive coordinator.
We do.
So I really feel good about this offseason. This is a preseason to me for the Bears. I only knew they were going to suck. I just want to see the development of Justin Fields and how he improves from last year and from game to game to game. As
Right.
you can see what he's done, he's progressed a lot.
He has.
Especially with the offensive coordinator, Gatsy, putting it in place for him. It's only going to get better. And then you're going to have the money and the draft picks to put pieces around him. You know, so this year, throw it away. What's going to benefit the Bears next season, hopefully with the moves they make and the schedule they're going to get next season, because they're going to have a last place schedule. They're going to finish last. They're going to play all the last place teams that played last in the division and the conference last year. They're going to play at least one last place team in the AFC, whatever division they play next year. So they're going to have ample opportunity to put this team together, have hopefully a decent, easy schedule, and I could easily see them possibly, depending on the moves they make, I got them winning possibly about 12 or 13 games next season and making the playoffs. You know, and that's what I think is going to happen. And I'm getting really excited about it. What I'm hoping is they keep them competitive, you know, even after next season, you know, even if they don't win the Super Bowl next year. I want them to make strides and get better every year and make a run for the playoffs, compete for the playoffs, win that goddamn division, beat Green Bay on a regular basis, win your division games on a regular basis. You always guarantee yourself a playoff spot if you win your division. And it starts in the division. If you can't win your division games, you're not winning your other games.
Yes.
So they sucked the last couple of years against the division. I think that stops next season. So I got them probably, you know, depends on the moves they make. I got them probably winning the 6 games they played, maybe going 5-1. I think you're right. I agree. I think the dominance the Packers been having on them is ending.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that. The Packers are making shitty moves. You can see what the direction they're going in. And you see what the direction the Bears are going in. You know, and it starts right there. The Vikings, they're a good team, But the Bears can handle them. I'm not afraid of the Vikings. I've never been afraid of the Vikings.
Me neither.
And the Bears can beat them. They're not. I mean, I don't trust Kirk Cousins or anything. Yes, he's having a decent year, but watch him playoff time. Watch him choke. Watch him fold like a chair, should I say? He's gonna fold like a chair, you know. And,
at a picnic.
Yeah. You know, exactly. So he's good as nothing. And Detroit, they don't have a record of ever doing anything. They may, but come on. So anyway, moving on. There were some upsets, folks, this weekend in the NFL.
Which one are we going to start with?
We're going to start with the Vikings beating the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Okay, that was very disappointing. I didn't see that coming at all. I am kind of a little upset because I actually messed up my my pigskin pick 'em. Exactly, and I didn't like that. They actually went out there to Buffalo. They beat Buffalo, and it's because I think the Vikings had a last second
with
field goal.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
you see Justin Jefferson with
So
that ridiculous catch.
But
that kid is talented.
Buffalo's defense. You give up 33 points. Kirk Cousins had 357 received passing yards, but he only threw for 1 touchdown, and he got sacked 4 times. So what happened? Who killed them? Well, it was Cook, who ran for 119 yards and a touchdown. You know.
So we're not going to talk about Justin Jefferson with his 193 yards?
Yeah, well, I was going to get into that.
God.
Jefferson had 1 touchdown and 193 yards. That was the only touchdown he got, though. And that was the only touchdown that Kirk Cousins threw.
Yep.
But if you notice his little pattern, the man is getting monster yards.
Mm-hmm.
But how many scores is he getting? There's a bend and don't break defense. I'm going to let you catch everything. But you know what I'm not going to let you do? I'm not going to let you get into the end zone. So if you're going to throw for 193 yards, receive for 193 yards, you should have a couple of touchdowns, at least 2 or 3. One's kind of disappointing. You got the yardage, but
even though you have a Cook that's rushing in and can run it in, and let's not forget,
Well, Buffalo's defense hasn't really given up this type of points this season, so the Vikings really put it on their ass. But Josh Allen,
with that final interception.
Yeah, he threw for 330 yards, which isn't bad, but again, he only threw for 1 touchdown, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Not a good game for him at all.
Pretty much the same numbers as Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and then they did run for 175 yards as a team, which is great. Diggs had himself 128 yards, but you know what I don't see? I don't see any touchdowns.
Right.
So where's he out showboating against his former team? You got the yards, sir, but where are the touchdowns? I expected him to have a monster game against the Vikings against his old team.
128 yards with 12 receptions.
Yeah, but it would be nice if he had 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That would have been great.
It's the NFL, sir.
Well, but against his former team, that would have been great. But it didn't happen. And this was a disappointing loss. But, Buffalo's now 6-3. I still think that they're gonna win the division. I still think they're still gonna get. They'll end up being the best team in the AFC, and they'll still have the bye week and home field.
Even with the losses that they've suffered to like mid-grade teams, you still feel like they're a contender.
Team goes through the fuck. Every team has a bad game. Look what happened to Philadelphia. Come on. They had a sense that they were going to lose that game.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Because that was a bullshit game.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
The face mask that was
I'll get into that.
Okay.
But I give credit to the Vikings. They went out to Buffalo and they beat the Bills.
Okay.
You got to give them that. So, nothing I can say. They won. And now I think it's pretty clear cut at this point, would you say, that they kind of wrapped up the North at this point, the division.
They did.
And Green Bay, the Packers can.
We're not gonna catch up, and the Lions ain't doing shit.
And all the wild card teams are all locked up in the East because that division is doing really damn well this season.
Yep.
So good win for the Bills. You have any comments about that? Any more comments about this game? I was disappointed. I actually had the Bills winning.
I had the Bills winning too in my pick'ems, especially the fact that they lost the week before to the Jets. To turn around and lose back-to-back games, now to the Vikings. And next week they have the Browns, which I'm pretty sure they're going to try and put it on the Bills too. Watch out for Nick Chubb.
Okay.
Watch out for Nick Chubb. Watch out for Nick Chubb. That's all I got to say. So there's a good possibility that they could go 3. They could lose 3 games in a row. Because after that, they're going to wash the Lions. Because after that, they get the Lions to relieve their stress.
Schedule?
No, this is the Bills' schedule.
Yeah.
This is the Bills. They're going to wash the Lions to basically, get the stress out.
They'll wipe the floor with the Patriots too and the Jets.
Let's not go that far yet, because they just lost to the Jets.
They'll beat them again. That's why you play them twice. They're in the division.
But
they'll get the revenge on the Jets.
Bills are still a good team. I'm just not believing that they are a top-tier, top-notch team to make the Super Bowl anymore because of some of the losses that I've seen them suffer.
It matters in the playoffs.
The Dolphins, I'll give them the Dolphins because that was one that was a close
game. They played them again.
They lost that. But the Jets
and
the Vikings, you just said that was an unexpected and
that was unexpected.
Loss.
Well,
they should not be losing.
Yeah, they shouldn't be losing to the Jets either. But I will say about the division games, those are tougher games to win. So I am surprised that they lost 2 games in the division so far this season. So they play them again. So they play the Jets again. They play the Dolphins again. And I believe they play the Patriots twice. So they still have 4 games left in the division. I got them sweeping that division, rest of that division out. That's not going to be a problem. I got them beating the Browns and the Lions.
Okay.
Out of the games that they'll lose, oh God, they do play the Bears. The Bengals might give them. I could see them maybe losing that game, but they may have already met their losses for the year. They may not lose another game this season.
We'll see.
So another upset game was the Cowboys and the Packers, and I watched this game. And was it me or was it like, what's with your boy Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense? They to me, did not look in sync. I mean, Dak did throw for 3 touchdowns, but he also threw for 2 picks against the Green Bay's shitty defense.
So let me kick this off. I know you're not a Dallas guy. I am. I like Dallas.
No, I'm just saying what happened.
And I just want to show the contrast here, folks. Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, they throw for 300-something yards, but 1 touchdown, and that's, what are we doing? Dak Prescott throws for 265 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Okay. But 2 interceptions. That kind of cancels itself out in a way.
It doesn't.
It does.
Did those 2 interceptions result in
the bottom line? This guy, he throws for 265 yards, great. 3 touchdowns, great. But you have 2 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers threw for less yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Well,
so, I mean...
What did Rodgers do last week? He threw for 3 interceptions last week.
Well, that's very rare for him to do that. I think that's the first time in his career he did that. And he's been in the league for 15 years, hasn't he? Or longer, 16 years. So... I'm not impressed with Dak Prescott's numbers. If he had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, yes, but he had 3 touchdowns and that kind of cancels it out with the 2 interceptions. Sacked 2 times, threw for 265, but man, you had 2 interceptions. That's not good. You sit there and you let Rodgers get 3 touchdowns on him, but his defense gave up. What happened with the Dallas's vaunted great defense that they sweat so much? You give up 31 points to Green Bay, who couldn't even score 15 points the last 2 months. What the hell is going on?
Well, I'll tell you what
happened. The Bears put it on their ass, too, when they played them, and they ran up the score on them. They beat them because, Dak Prescott was getting anything he wanted on the defense.
I'll tell you what happened. There's a young man that started at the beginning of the year on the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers was throwing him balls, and he was dropping wide open passes.
Yeah, that first game of the year,
right? And he had other games that he dropped wide open passes, and they pulled him. They pulled him out, and they gave him another chance. He came in last week and he balled.
Can he keep it up?
Balled. 107 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns.
Can he keep it up?
3 touchdowns. That was a difference maker. No one was expecting this man to do this.
Go to Green Bay's schedule.
No one was expecting him to do this. But he came out and he straight balled out, and they got that win.
So I give them credit. They went out there. I mean, Dallas went up to Green Bay and laid an egg, in my opinion. So the Packers end up winning. That makes the Packers 4-6.
Yep.
They're not winning the division. Not with a team that's 7-8-2, 8-1. No, 9-1. Right? Like no, Vikings are 8-1. Vikings are 8-1.
Yeah, they got 8-1. Yeah.
So they are, including the tiebreaker at the moment. Green Bay they've lost how many games? 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5 games behind. Make it 6 games behind because they lost the towing cost. So they play the Titans next.
You want to go to a Packers game? $42.
Is that at Lambeau? That's tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. The 17th is tomorrow. They're playing Thursday night game.
It is tomorrow. Okay.
And so
I'll be working.
So, well, they're in trouble. Oh boy, wasn't going to have a good game. Times will have multiple stars. Oh, who's not playing against the Packers?
Yeah, before you make those comments, there's going to be guys that aren't going to be playing for the Titans.
Center.
I think that's going to give them a
safety
lot.
And their kicker and their linebacker.
Which means that's going to open up a lot of room for Aaron Rodgers to run.
But what is Henry going to do to that defense?
He's going to run over 120 yards.
So
we know this.
So look at this.
We know this.
So would you be surprised if the Titans not only win this game, they dominate this game on the run game and keep Rodgers off the field? Like I said, when you're having 7-8 minute drives, that wears the hell out of your defense. And then you put a rusty, cold Aaron Rodgers on the field after he hasn't been on the field in 30 minutes or so, and you expect him to get out there and start unwinding and throwing balls. It doesn't work that way. When that happens, he loses. History says that. And so he prone to make mistakes. So what you do is you run the ball, and that's what I expect is going to happen. They may not have their starters, but I'm not sure if they'll really need them. I think in this game, Packers are toast to me. And I think the Titans are going to run over their asses like a steam train from the 1800s.
Okay.
And they're going to dominate the clock, time of possession. And they're not going to give Aaron Rodgers any time to get out there to do anything.
I disagree with you, sir. On this one,
I got the Titans winning.
On this one, I have the Packers winning.
Back on the Packers train again.
Well, I never got off the Packers train. I got off the fact that he has no one to throw the ball to. Everyone's dropping balls. Every week I watch ESPN, and what do I see on there? I see Aaron Rodgers side-arming it, making spectacular passes, and these guys are dropping, bouncing off their chest, bouncing off their helmets, bouncing off their fingertips. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And that's what I've been seeing.
So they got the Titans tomorrow. Then they got to go to Philadelphia and play the Eagles next Sunday night.
That's going to be a tough game.
And then the Rams come to their town on a Monday night. Wow, they really packed them in with 3 primetime games in a row: a Thursday night game, a Sunday night game, a Monday night game. So they're basically giving this team somewhat like almost a mini bye week, 2 weeks in a row. And then they got to play the Dolphins, and then the Vikings again. So I can easily see this happening. Don't rule this out. Titans loss, Eagles loss, Rams loss, Dolphins loss, Vikings loss. Where is the Bears at? Why aren't they showing them on there? It's not even showing it down here.
Because that's December 4th. I got that on my schedule for a victory for the Bears.
Okay. Yeah, it's up here. That's why. But the Bears, I hope the Bears beat them. And if that is the case, then the only game I got them losing the rest of the games except for the last game of the season, and that's against the Lions. So they're at 6 losses right now? 7, 8, 9, 10,
wow,
11, possibly 12 losses.
You see,
and 5 wins.
We don't know what's happening behind closed doors, and we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is saying to his players to get them to perform. They look like a different team to me. They look like they were doing their very best to catch that ball instead of just dropping it and just looking away and walking.
We'll see what happens against the Titans. We'll just say that. Because you look at their schedule they got coming up. I don't see too many wins in this schedule, remaining schedule. Look at who they're playing. They got the Titans. They got the Eagles. They got the Packers. I don't see a lot of wins there. I'm sorry.
And I got us beating them.
But not just us. Look at the rest of the games they're playing.
I think they'll beat the Rams. The Dolphins are gonna. I think are gonna beat the Packers. Where they play
the Eagles.
At the Dolphins, so it's gonna be.
They're going to Philadelphia.
Loss.
They're going to Miami.
Loss.
They're hosting the Vikings. Loss.
Come on.
The Vikings have handled.
They're hosting the Vikings on the January 1st. How cold do you think it's gonna be? You think the Vikings aren't even used to playing?
They're gonna use that game to clinch everything. To make sure they ensure.
And the Lions go to town on the 8th. Come on.
I got them losing about 12 games.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do.
That's
but
fine.
they beat the Cowboys, and I'll keep saying this. I'm sorry. This proves my point. I wish you could see this.
Boy.
How overrated the Cowboys are.
Oh boy.
I don't know what Stephen A. Smith said because I don't watch that.
It sounds to me
But
you do watch a lot of him.
No, I don't. I know he's always talking. I don't watch him much because all they do when they play that show, which I stopped watching months ago, all they talk about is the Cowboys. Cowboys.
Because it's America's team.
So I don't want to hear about
It's
that.
America's team.
You're supposed to be talking about all the other teams, but you always spend 20 minutes. He actually spends 20 minutes or 30 minutes just on the Cowboys.
Because he has the play.
And then the rest of the show, which is supposed to be a national show, is the rest we're going to talk about the Giants, and we're going to talk about Tom Brady, and we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, and then we'll filter in all the other teams.
Because
those
are the most important people in
so,
the league right now. Why wouldn't we
I'm sorry,
we talk about them.
I talk about how overrated they
talk
are,
about
and they don't
Tom
win.
Brady. We talk about
and they're going to lose. They're going to lose.
They're the upper echelon.
They are going to be. They're an overrated team. They always have been and always will be.
Okay.
They may make the playoffs as a wild card, but I see them not going far. So, congratulations to the Packers, but not really. So, I really don't say congratulations to them on anything. So the hell with them. They're going to lose tomorrow against the Titans. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out of work to see that.
Well, I don't have it Prime, so I won't be watching it. I guess I'll just watch it when it comes on the replay at like midnight.
Right.
That's when the replay comes on. But moving on, the other, I guess, upsets. I don't know if you want to call this an upset anymore, but the 49ers beat the Chargers.
I don't think that was an upset because I had the
Sure.
Niners beating them anyway.
Okay, so then let's get to the major upset of the weekend. And that was what happened on Monday night when the Commanders went up to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles quite handily, actually, which was
It was
a surprise.
not quite handily.
Because they actually dominated them the entire game. They held the ball for most of the game. You didn't see the time of possession?
Yes, man, I watched that.
32 points they gave up. They scored in every single quarter. The Washington did. And Philly just didn't have an answer. They just did not look right in that game. Like, they didn't look like they wanted to play or weren't
How
prepared.
many penalties went against them, man? I watched like 4 penalties in a row go against them.
Mike,
and then,
look at the score. They still outscored them in the fourth quarter, 9-7.
And then we have the face mask issue. The face mask issue, I'm not letting that go. And I'm waiting for NFL to actually apologize for the refs missing that.
Did they apologize for the Bears when they missed those calls?
For that ridiculous face mask that was clearly pulled, and my man drops the ball.
But they can't.
They review it.
They can't review.
They can clearly see that this man reaches.
Not part of the rules, though.
And they should change that. That should be changed.
You can complain and bitch all you want, but the rule is when they review a play, that is not reviewable. What was reviewable?
How is it not reviewable?
No,
it was part of the play.
No, what's reviewable is that he fumbled the ball.
Because his neck got
hold on.
man.
They did not call it on the play. You cannot review that call. Now I agree with you. When they review a play, they should review everything in the play. If not, you should be able to challenge every play. That's why I only give you 2 challenges. I am a fan of challenges. Yes, you give them 2. Don't want to give them too many. Give them 2. But those 2 challenges, you should be able to challenge anything, any and everything.
Okay.
You only get 2 a game.
Okay.
So pass interference, face masks, any other penalties, bullshit penalties that they throw out of nowhere. You should be able to challenge anything. Anything.
Agreed.
Period. Ball. No whistle wasn't called. Well, no, I'm going to challenge that. You only get 2 a game. If you use them and lose them, then you lose them.
My problem is,
You know?
if you had a helmet on and you were running and we were playing football, and you came by running with the ball, tucked it, and I grabbed your helmet and I twisted your head, you probably would let that ball go because this is a normal reaction.
But the current rules say they cannot. Review. They cannot. That's not a reviewable. That's not reviewable.
That's a horrible.
Penalties are not reviewable. They should be, but they're not. I agree. That and the stupid overtime rules. You know. So I mean, this was a major upset. I mean, Hurts had he threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception, but he only threw for 176 yards. He was only sacked once. He just didn't seem like he was into it much.
He looked like he was just fine to me. It looked like the refs were really, really, really helping the Washington Commanders. Heineke
didn't throw anything. Yeah,
didn't do shit.
That's because they did everything on their running game.
Exactly.
They did the Bears. A lot of these teams seem to be doing this. We're gonna run the
He
game.
threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. So stop.
Well, I'm not talking about on that end.
And that bullshit play at the end,
the defense, the Eagles' defense failed them, Mike. Okay, fine. You want to say Hurts didn't have a bad game? He didn't, I guess. But in his standards, he usually puts up 300 yards.
Rating. He's good.
But their defense let them down. Your defense gave up 32 points. You're not going to win many games.
Yeah, you're right.
By giving up 32 points. I don't know what teams win games giving up 32 points.
You're right.
So, and but it was a perfect game for them to lose in a way. It's a division opponent. It's at home. Team was comfortable. They're undefeated. You know, they might be playing a little bit laid back. Every team goes through this. You're going to lose a game. There was only one undefeated team in history, and that's the Dolphins from the 70s. You know, that's why they're the only undefeated team.
How does that still count? How long were their seasons?
Well, the ones that are alive were
weeks?
popping champagne like they do
Was
every
it
year.
like 13 weeks? 13 week season? I mean, come on.
There was 12 weeks in the season, but they had 4 rounds in the playoffs.
You cannot count that.
Of course you count
No,
it.
you
They were
can't.
undefeated.
12 weeks, we have 17
They
weeks
end up
now.
going 15-0
No.
for the season.
No, and no. I don't even accept that shit anymore. And then two, I really can't stand the fact that these old guys keep coming
Well,
out
the ones
there.
that are alive.
I can't stand the fact that they keep coming out there and they're just hating hard. They're just hating. Waiting
Well, they don't want their
team
record broken.
That's ridiculous. You coming out there popping champagne because a team lost their unbeaten streak. That's some bullshit. And that's some hating shit. Let it go already, dude. You played in the 70s. You got what you needed. You got your undefeated season, supposedly, with 12 games in the season. Supposedly.
Well, it's not their fault that the league only has
shit.
12 teams.
Now that's
12
almost
games.
like half a season for us now.
There weren't as many teams in the league either.
That doesn't
man.
count to me.
It does count. You have to count it. That's
I
the
don't
Super
count
Bowl
that.
era, Mike.
Yeah.
That was the Super Bowl era.
I don't
You have
count
to
that
count
at all.
that. But nonetheless, Philadelphia lost. So they got that out their stomach, basically. Got that out their system. So now they can focus on winning the rest of their games. So they're going to have home field advantage through the NFC playoffs. No doubt about it.
Next week they got the Colts.
They'll beat them. The Packers, they'll beat them. The Titans, we'll see. The Giants, they'll beat them. The Bears, sorry Bear fans, they're going to lose. I don't see the Bears winning that game. It's a possible upset, but it'll be a really big upset. But I just don't see it unless there's some unforeseen things that happen. You know.
I like the unforeseen.
Yeah. Then they got the Cowboys. I think I got them beating the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Giants. So out of this,
them winning just basically every other
all these
game.
games, I got them losing one more game.
Wow.
And that game could possibly be against the Titans. That's the game I could see them losing. The rest of these games, I could see them winning.
Amazing.
The rest of these games, I do see them winning. You know, I just do. But those are some upsets that took place. Those are the main upsets that took place, or the main games that took place this past weekend. I did see the Cardinals finally won a game. I see they beat the Rams. What is going on with the Rams? What happened? Super Bowl hangover.
They're done, yeah. And Cooper Kupp is now hurt. He's hurt for the next 4 or 5 weeks. He's done.
What? So they're done. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's done.
Wow. Okay, so if that's the case,
no
that's the best receiver in the league. You don't have the best receiver in the league on your team. You're not going anywhere. So they're finished. They're toast.
Yep.
Well, they weren't going to go to the playoffs anyway. So when you look at the current standings in the NFC, you have conference-wise, well, go division-wise, You got the NFC East. Okay, I guess we have to talk about them because we're forced to because of the records. They are no longer the NFC least. They are the NFC beasts, I guess, right? So far this season. So you have the Eagles at 8-1, the Giants 7-2, Cowboys 6-3, and even the Washington with that win, 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone on that team is 500 or more or better. So you don't see what other teams do you see on this list outside? Look at these. Look at Dallas is 6-3. Who else in the division has a 6-3 record? Nobody. So as I was saying, right now, if the playoffs were to start now, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys would all make the playoffs. Okay, and that's it. Those are that's your wild card, and then they get 2 wild card spots, New York and Dallas, and then Minnesota wins the North, Tampa Bay wins the South, Seattle wins the East. Wins the West. That even makes good old San Francisco and Jimmy G needs to get it together because the only way they're gonna get the playoffs this year is to overtake Seattle in the standings, and that's a big surprise. That team, the Seahawks. How the hell are they 6-4?
Give it up to Geno Smith.
Give it up to Pete Carroll for coaching that team.
Give it up to Geno Smith. Pete Carroll can sit out there and coach all he wants. Someone has to go out there and execute what he wants and has to execute it properly.
We see him doing a better job than. Well, I'll give you that. He's doing a better job than Russell Wilson.
Let's not throw, shade on Russell like that. The man had a successful career out there.
He did, but not this year.
And it looks like he just burnt out in Seattle. It just wasn't working out. Him and Pete Carroll.
I think he's burnt out. I think he's burnt out. Period.
I'm not giving up on Russell Wilson.
They're 3-6, Mike. They're not going anywhere.
I'm not giving up on them.
While you have Seattle 6-4, Pete Carroll's like, oh man, I got a diamond in the rough. I got rid of my franchise quarterback, and I'm still competitive and still winning the division. I don't even need him. That's basically what he's saying. He doesn't need him.
We'll see.
So that's a surprise. So
I am happy for Geno Smith. I'm just gonna put it out.
Okay. So not to get too much into it, but we do have next week's games. We mentioned the Packers and the Titans coming up tomorrow, Thursday night. And then you got the Bears are playing at Atlanta against the Falcons. The Falcons are 4-6. The Bears are going in 3-7. High noon game in Atlanta. Who do you got? Bears or Falcons?
I already told you I got the Falcons winning that. The Bears winning that game.
Okay. We already talked about the Bills and the Browns.
Do you really think Marcus Mariota is really going to come out and ball out like that against the Bears?
I want to say yes, and I'll tell you why. Because the Bears' defense, as you see, against even the Lions and against all these teams, can't do shit. We're giving up 30-something points. We're scoring 30, but we're giving up 30. You don't think Atlanta's can put up 30?
Okay.
So yes, I do see the Bears losing this game.
Can I show you something really quick?
Yes.
Look at Justin Fields' numbers.
Yes, I mentioned
1489.
Yeah.
12 touchdowns, 7
touchdowns. Yes.
7 interceptions. Look at Marcus Mariota's numbers.
Better, a little bit better.
Same thing. 12 touchdowns, 7
more yardage,
interceptions.
though. And he has more completed passes.
So 200 more yards passing.
200 more yards passing, 20-something, 21 more passes.
But remember, at the beginning of the season, the Bears were not letting Justin Fields really pass the ball. He was having like 7 attempts, 9 attempts per game. That has changed dramatically, and that's for the better. And I'm okay with it. But yeah, I got the Bears beating the Falcons.
Okay.
I got that.
Okay. The Eagles are going to beat the Colts. Then you got the Jets and the Patriots. I used to hype the hell out of this rivalry. Not too much now.
Somehow the Jets have the Patriots number, man.
Yeah, they have. Lately. Think about finally
even when Brady was there.
The tables have turned. No, but Brady was handling them. He was their daddy. Until the last few years.
Yeah.
But the prior 18 years he was their daddy. So come on. You know it. The Jets were the bottom feeders of the NFC East for years. Them and the Bills.
Well, they were.
The Patriots dominated that division for the last 20-something years. Pretty much won damn near out of the 20 years. They probably won 18 of those divisions. Titles.
Well, I have the Jets winning that game.
I got the Jets winning too in New England. Rams, Saints. Who cares? Lions,
Rams
Giants,
and Saints.
Yeah.
Really? Who cares?
Yeah, these teams are done. I really don't care at this point. And you said Cooper Kupp's not playing. That gives the Saints a chance to win.
Yeah, and that's why I have the Saints actually beating the Rams this coming.
But they're both are bottom feeding teams. We just hope that one of them wins so they have a better record than the Bears. Then you have the Giants. The Giants are playing the Lions. Let's see if the Lions
Giants are going to win that game.
Let's see if the Lions put up 31 points and beat the Giants next week.
There goes your boy.
To have ankle surgery, oh, he's done for the year then. Oh man, what happened? I didn't see him. Well, I didn't see the game, but wow. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Cooper Kupp, man, ankle surgery. That's not good. Yeah, that's just bread and butter and speed. He probably will shut it down. That team's not going anywhere. It'd be probably best for him to shut it down for the year.
Get ready for next year.
Exactly. Save that man. Actually, bring him here. We'll take him.
I'll take him.
You have the Commanders and the Titans. Is Lovey going to ever get win number 2?
You know, I really do hope that he does. I like Lovey because Lovey was here, and I think he got a raw deal going out there. Yeah, he wanted to be a head coach again. Yeah, he got to be a head coach because now you're like 1 win, how many losses and 1 tie. I'm hoping he does at least get 1 more win before the end of the season. He'll probably get it, probably week 16 or 17.
Maybe.
When everyone's sitting down.
It's going to be a bad team.
Yeah.
So we'll just quickly get into these other 4 games, the last games.
Yeah.
Raiders, Broncos, and who cares? Devontae Adams will have another 100-something yard game.
But do you think Russell's going to pull out a win, or do you think Derek Carr is finally going to get?
I think Derek Carr's
number 3.
I got the Raiders winning.
Did you see him at the end of the last game? He was crying at the end of the last game.
I think they'll win. They'll win. Then the other 2 games, really 2 out of these last 3 games, or 4 games actually, got me a little interested. The Cowboys and the Vikings in Minnesota.
That's a hard one. You said it's in Minnesota too, huh?
Yep. 8-1 Vikings against the 6-3 Cowboys. Are the Cowboys going to lay another egg in Minnesota like they did in Green Bay?
I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys on this one.
Okay.
That versus your boy Kirk Cousins is going to be. It's
kind of funny.
It's going to be a good game.
As much as I don't like the Cowboys, I don't. Mm-hmm. I always would put them against 2 teams, always, and I always said, any team against the Packers, I want that team to win. I don't care who they are.
Right.
And the second team that I want everyone to win, except for the Packers, is the Vikings. And the only time I want the Vikings to really win is when they're playing against the Packers. So I don't like the Vikings. I never have. I never will. They're a division rival. I don't like that team, but statistically, I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. Even though my heart wants the Cowboys to win because I just don't like the Vikings. But I think the Vikings are talented enough. They'll beat the Cowboys, and I think they're going to take them. It'd be interesting to see if the Cowboys do something. This is where I want to see if your boy Dak comes out there and performs.
I think he will. I think he's going to come out and show out.
That vaulted defense has been shattered. Has been that armor's been coming off of that defense.
Finger looking good defense. We'll see what happens next week against the high-flying Vikings.
We got the Bengals against the Steelers. Bengals.
Yeah.
And then we had the Chiefs against the Chargers.
Chiefs.
This is in L.A.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And what about the Monday night game? The 49ers.
You already know which one I'm going with.
Against the Cardinals. I got Jimmy G and company taking care of business.
I am not a Kyler Murray fan.
Is he playing?
Of course he's playing. He's unsure of his status. I'm pretty sure he's going to play.
I think the Cardinals need to reevaluate.
He has a hamstring injury.
Yeah, but more than that.
Bro, they just cut him a huge check.
Yeah.
You think they're going to evaluate him? No, they're going to have his ass out there playing for that check.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm not hating on the kid. He's very talented, I guess.
But I'm not a fan. Talent or not.
Take that away. I just don't think he is going to be a winning quarterback for that team.
Nope.
I don't. I think I kind of want to say in a way he's kind of proved to me. I guess you were right because I actually was picking him up until like the end of last year. I kind of think he's kind of overrated now, and I think I'm not gonna say he's immature because I don't think that's the case. I don't see the way he is right now. I just don't see him winning the big games. Now they may be competitive, but they're not making the playoffs this year. Well, they might have a chance.
No.
They may, but the 49ers will make the playoffs before they do. But I got Jimmy G and the 49ers winning that. They've got to start winning some games so they can try to snap
Bro,
one of those wild cards.
The Cardinals have one more win than we do. You have them possibly.
No, I said the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
Not the Cardinals.
I was about to say,
the Cardinals, to me, are going to be a very disappointing team. They're not making the playoffs.
I was about to say,
They're going to be.
them making the playoffs.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're a double-digit loss team this season. But anyway, we figured that out. So now that pretty much concludes the the NFL for the week. I want to quickly get into the Bulls.
I'm gonna let you talk about them.
So, we're a month into the season, okay? And the Bulls have played 15 games. Yes, they played 15 games.
15 games, 6-9.
Yeah, so they played 15 games. We're a month into the season, and they're 3 games under 500. Now, something is wrong with this team. I don't know. Well, I kind of think I know what it is. Again, they're going back to the old habits, Mike. They're not playing good defense on the stretch. They're giving up over 100 points a game. They're giving up way too many threes. They build up, get some runs going where they'll score, and they can, and I like that. Mm-hmm. But then their defense collapses, and they just keep giving up these plays all the time. They foul someone 3-point play, they give up a 3-pointer, a 3-pointer here, a 3-pointer there. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's a whole team collective effort for them losing these games. They lost tonight. They gave up 124 points to the Pelicans. They scored 110, but hell, you're giving up 120. You know, Anthony, our colleague who was here a couple of weeks ago, he kind of he's predicting this. He's predicted, he mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking. He said that he doesn't see the Bulls doing much this year. He has them as a disappointing kind of season. Now, I didn't think so. But now I kind of see what he's talking about. They need to get it together. I mean, yes, you're only 15 games in, but, we're going to that 20-game sample that I want to evaluate them. And right now, I'll be honest, I don't like what I see. 6-9 is not good. I expect them to be 9-6. Not 6-9. Okay? Quickly falling down to contention. Mm-hmm. It's not offensive wise because the teams offensively are putting up decent numbers, I guess. DeRozan's putting up 24 points. You have J.R. Levine putting up 22 points a game. And then Nico putting up 16 where he should be. So these guys are putting up the numbers they need to put up. Io is putting up double digits at 11. But Dragic, who was a surprise, putting up 10 a game. But here's what we need. We need Patrick Williams to put up 12 to 15 a game.
We need Patrick Williams to go.
That is one person you need to get in there and do something. Alex Caruso, he's there for the defense. I hate, I'm sick and tired of a lot of Bulls fans and a lot of other saying, it's because of Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball hasn't played on this team since January, last season. Okay? I'm tired of saying that he's the piece, the piece that glues everything together. They got Dragic. They got Drummond. You have Alex Caruso out there, who basically his spot defensively. So, Ball is not going to play this season. And he may not play for the Bulls again. Okay? So, I'm very disappointed from what I see. And they got to get it together. They got it. I mean, still early, don't get me wrong, but so far, right now, Mike, they're playing F level. I wouldn't even give them an A. I'm giving them an F right now. Okay. Especially when you're 3 games under 500. Not for this team that's put together like this. You should not be 3 games under 500. You should be 3 games over 500 minimum, actually. You're 3 games under 500, you lose. They lost how many in a row now? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break.
So, Anthony was right. Mm-hmm. And I was saying basically the same thing. What changes did we really make between last year and this year? 1, let's mention Alonzo Ball. You said, when did he stop playing? January. Did you see what happened to our record when he stopped playing? We stopped competing. We started dropping games without him being there. His defensive presence and those threes that he was hitting routinely per game when he was hot, we missed those. He gave us that extra confident shooter that made those shots on a regular basis. Now we have Patrick Williams that's out there. He looks shy. He looks like a schoolboy on his first day at a new school every night. I mean, by now you shouldn't be shy anymore. You've been around this team. You've been in the league. Patrick Williams.
Why you? Okay.
Why am I what? The guy had 9 points per game, averaging, what, 3 rebounds per game? Wowzers. 0.8 steals.
No, maybe not. Maybe him and Kobe White might be traded.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
They may have to do something.
They're going to have to make a change before the end of the trade deadline, and I think those guys are going to be guys that are going to be shocked. And don't be surprised if you see Alex Caruso gone. Alex Caruso, I love Alex Caruso, but he needs to go to a team that needs just a defensive player. We need offense. We need offense.
We have offense.
We don't have offense.
We don't have defense.
Man,
they're scoring over 100 a game,
That's
but
it.
they're giving up over 100 a game. That's
we-
not going to win you games. You need defense.
We were putting up over that last year. We were putting up last year like what, 112?
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing that
115 a game.
now, Mike. They're still putting up over
I'm not
110 a
seeing that.
game.
I'm not
But
seeing
they're
that.
giving up 120 a game, 115 a game. You can't score 100 plus, but give up 100 plus and expect to win many games. So they got to shore up their defense. It's not offense because they got the offense.
To me,
They don't have defense.
We need extra offense. Because when they shut down Levine, or he has an off night, or they decide to double DeRozan, we have no one but Levine to go to, or hopefully Vooch will hit a few threes wide open. I'm watching these games and I'm disappointed by the way I'm seeing them play in transition. 1, 2, Caruso's really been getting on my nerves because I'm seeing the teams are purposely leaving him open and they're giving him open shots and he's jagging them. He's missing these open shots. He's missing open layups. It's like he has no confidence in scoring the ball anymore. And when I used to watch him in LA, this guy used to hit threes regularly with no problems. He used to drive it in, take layups, and make them, and not even that. This guy was just dunking all over the place. All of a sudden, now,
he had a pretty good dunk today.
all of a sudden now, all I'm seeing is air ball, break sides or back.
They didn't bring him here to score, Mike. They brought him here for defensive purposes.
Okay.
Him and Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
They brought Ball here for 3-point shooting and defense. They brought Caruso in here for defense.
So we'll have a liability out there that can't score. So it's 4-on-5 offensively.
You know, sometimes they put him on against bigger guys.
Yeah,
No.
he gets knocked around and gets
No,
injured.
and he plays. He has solid defense. I'm not going to get on him. I'm not a fan of Alex Caruso, you know that, but I will give the man his credit on defense. Defensively, he's fine. I don't think they should get rid of him. You know, you can't throw out Kobe White for some trade bait, and of course maybe Patrick Williams for some trade bait, who you are not going to give up. They better not even think about trading Io. You keep Io here.
Javonte Green can be trade bait, and so can Derrick Jones.
Derrick Jones definitely, because
Both of those guys can be trade bait for sure.
Derrick Jones averages just under 6 points a game.
So some changes need to be made on this team.
And I think they will be made. We'll see. But from what I see so far in these first 15 games, I am not happy.
Yeah.
I am disappointed right now because I don't expect them to be having this type of record.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially how they went last year. No, they got to get it together. I hope this is not a sign. If it's like this again in another month and a half, then I'm sorry, Mike, but I think we have to put the writing might be on the wall. They're not going to do anything. Okay, so with that being said, do you have any other closing comments? Well, there's one thing I do want to mention. It's outside the Bulls. Of course, I don't really like to respond to too much shit on Facebook because there's a lot of bullshit, clickbait, all this other crap. But there was one thing that caught my eye, and it was about the Nets are getting frustrated with, are getting impatient with Ben Simmons
As they should
not
be.
playing.
As they should
He's calling out these injuries out of nowhere, and he's not playing, and you know, the team would know if they're frustrated about that. It means this guy is pulling excuses out of his ass because he doesn't want to play.
Yep.
And again, this is why this guy, to me, needs to go. All he does is hogging up a spot for someone who wants to play. Just cut your bait with him, pay him out, buy out his contract, let him walk. Any team in the NBA would be stupid enough to get him, then that's your problem.
Yeah, agree.
But my opinion, I think the Nets should let him go. He is a crybaby. He's a whiner. He's always injured, which I don't think it's injured. I think he doesn't want to play because he doesn't like the criticism because he sucks. He sucks this year. He's worse than ever. You know, he has no shot. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't do anything. He's horrible. Can't make free throws. This guy, in my opinion, why is he still in the NBA?
I'm going to give you the same answer you gave me about Alex Caruso. He's there for his defense, and that's all he's
gone.
there for. No, he's still defense. I watched him play the other night. He can't score.
He's not a number one overall pick
to
be defense.
Shit. But he is playing defense. The man is still lengthy. He's still athletic. He can still jump.
How much is he getting paid?
A lot of money.
Wow.
That's what he's there for. Just like Caruso.
Where's
he? Oh,
he's been in the gym and he's working on his shot. His shot's gonna be much better than it was last year.
That's not true.
You know, it's gonna be better than next year. Remember that crap that was saying the last how many years? This guy's a crybaby. In my opinion, he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. I'm sorry. He doesn't deserve to be in the NBA because they need to. He is holding up a spot for someone who is well deserving to be in the NBA to get that spot. And the Nets, I don't know why they're still wasting their time. Cut your losses, buy him out, get him off your team. I'm pretty sure Durant and Kyrie Irving, who I lost a lot of respect for too, I'm sure they don't want this guy in the team. I bet you they're not going to say it, but how could you want him on that team?
No, they
don't want him
on that team.
You know, they're lucky they don't have like a Pat Beverly or Draymond Green on that team to just bitch him out and don't make him hurt his feelings and he'll be going home.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even show up to the stadium.
You know, so that's all I had to say about that. This guy, doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. He shouldn't be in the NBA. He was never good anyway. I'm sorry, I don't know where anyone saw this at. I saw nothing but failure, bad shooter, bad free throw shooter, average defense. That's all you bring to the table. You're in the NBA. We don't want it. Unless you're superior in one field or one stat. I mean, completely superior in defense, rebounds, block shots, like a Dennis Rodman was. You know, and making more than half your free throws, then fine, we'll pay you. But if you can't shoot the ball worth a lick, you have no shot, you can't make free throws, and you're a guard or a power forward, right? Is he a power forward? What is it?
Well, they have him subbing in at center right now.
Anyway, this bum cannot hit free throws. He cannot shoot. You know, his defense is average at best, and he's always hurt. And always having excuse why he can't play. I don't even use injury as an excuse. It's mental at this point. He doesn't want to play.
He doesn't want to fail.
He's already failed.
He's afraid.
He doesn't want to play. Period. With that being said, we're gonna try to introduce something in the show towards the end of the show. If you guys want to send any questions, please feel free to do so. We'll actually answer them at the end of our show before we go off, and do our best to answer the questions. Now, it has to be sports related. It doesn't have to be sports related, but if you get a subject about something I don't know about, I'll tell you I don't know anything about that. And, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. You say, oh, what did, I don't know, what happened on Housewives of Salt Lake City? Yeah. How much, I don't know what
Remember,
we had I don't watch crap like that. Yeah. You know, if it's sports related and I'm familiar with it, I have no problem answering it at all. But we welcome your questions. Bring them on. It doesn't necessarily have to be sports. If it's non-sports and it makes sense, you know, then I have no problem answering it, give you my opinion. Again, this is an opinionated show, not no media. So yeah, let us know. Just submit your question. How do you submit the questions? Through
YouTube, or
YouTube.
If you go to our RSS feed, you can also put comments there or questions there, or donate Bitcoin. I see they just started that with us. So, hey, we'll see how that goes. But either way, thank you everyone for watching and listening. Catch us again on YouTube as you are now. Podcast is available on Spotify, available on Google Podcast, Samsung Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I mean, we try to make it available so everyone can listen, get an opinion, hear our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours. So once again, before I want to do another NBA show, of course, because right now, I know you watch both, but my main focus right now is the NFL. I do watch the NBA also, but my focus is the NFL. But I still want to do some shows about the NBA. Not just the Bulls. We are going to talk about the Bulls again. I'm going to have some stuff to say about that again. But there are some other teams in the NBA we definitely have to talk about. And
well, our focus will be on the
show.
Bulls, and then we'll filter like the Bears into other teams. Because again, we're an opinionated show, but we're also a Chicago show.
Yeah.
So we focus on our Chicago sports, mainly the Bulls and the Bears. You know. If you actually send out questions about baseball, you can send them, but be honest, I do watch baseball. I like my Cubs. I like the Sox. But I don't watch enough of it throughout the year, especially if they're not competing to really give a damn, you know. But, I mean, I'll try to do my best to answer those questions. But I'll be honest, if you come in with hockey and some baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I do MMA. I watch UFC.
He's a boxing expert in MMA.
I love watching that.
I'll throw my opinion on certain boxing.
Saturday night, that's my thing, boxing and MMA. So